Well, it's Friday evening and it's time for another stream. And let's just send that notification out there because I completely forgot to do that. So, sorry I've been away for 2 weeks, or maybe you're glad I've been away for 2 weeks. Anyway, enough of this. It's time to get stuck back into some more editing from SecretCon, some more inane banter, and we'll have a lager at some point. So, just so anyone watching right now, SecretCon was, oh God, when was it actually? A couple of months ago now. I'm still editing away pictures slowly, but what I decided to do this time round was edit them live on a live stream actually. So you can have a see and look at what it is that photographers do when we edit cosplay photographs, and you get an appreciation for how much work actually goes into what we do. And maybe you'll pick up some ideas and things you may want to try out yourself. So, just going to a quick glass of water. And before we get started, some of you won't be aware, I've been off for the last 2 weeks. I've been on holiday, well, you call it a holiday, taking my youngest back down to Brighton to start at uni. So I had a week of, almost a week of staying down there, which was quite nice. Weather wasn't too bad. And when I came back, I was really, really tired because we were driving back for about 8 hours with constant rain all the way up the motorway. And it took something like 8 hours to get home. So I wasn't really feeling like streaming. And just to cap it all, the following week, straight back into work, I'm on an 8 o'clock starting shift. So that means I lose an hour of sleep. So while I get to go home early, I can't really stream as late. So I thought what I'll do is wait till the end of this week when I've got a nice weekend ahead of me, and this way I can stream hopefully maybe the regular 2, maybe possibly 3 hours, and enjoy a couple of drinks maybe while I'm doing some editing. So obviously if there's anyone watching, feel free to drop a message in the chat room. More than happy to say hello, and I hope you enjoy what you see. So what we're going to do now is pick up where we left off. And as you probably can tell now on the stream, there's a few things I've been changing in the way things work here. I've been messing around with a few things, as you're about to see. So we're just going to switch over to our live scene. And as you can see, here I am in color and funky backgrounds. You know, we like to play around with this sort of stuff. I've been wondering about getting the camera working, figured that was the next step of live streaming. So here we are. And this is kind of where we left off. Now, like I say, as it was 2 weeks ago, I've drunk since then, forgotten quite a bit, including who I was. Then I remembered. And if I recall correctly, we were starting to have some technical issues late on in the stream. This was getting close towards 1 a.m. and Lightroom and Photoshop just decided they didn't want to play anymore. They've had enough and wanted to go to bed. So I pretty much had to leave this shot as it was, which was just a fairly basic edit. I was going to apply some kind of color grading to this, and I'm still going to do that because I have several other shots from this set that I want to edit. So I'm just going to switch over to Photoshop. So as a quick refresher for those of you who haven't seen my process, the first thing I do is I will duplicate my background layer, and then I'll do a cleanup layer above that. And that is basically just to remove little distractions, things that might draw your eye, stray hairs, things like that. Then we'll merge that together. So that's literally taking all those changes and kind of squishing them down into one image. We then move on to skin smoothing, or using frequency separation action. Now, I know some photographers, I've seen actually one photographer who I am following who's not a cosplay photographer. On one of her videos, she was almost apologizing for using an action as though it was some kind of crime. And I'm thinking, why would you do that? If you have to do this sort of work over and over, the best thing to do is automate it as much as you can. And the creation of these layers isn't that hard to do, but if you ask me to do that at a pinch, there's a good chance I'm going to get it wrong. And that's why we use actions, so they can store a set of operations that you can repeat every single time. So it's not really so much a cheat, it's more about being efficient with your time. It gets you where you want to be a bit quicker, and hopefully gets you moving on to the next stage. So we've done the frequency separation, and I think at this point we're going to look at color grading. Now, this is something that I will just play around with until I find something I like. So when you see me moving sliders around and stuff, you might think, does he have a clue what he's doing? It's pretty much all in the eyes. You look on the screen and you decide, based on what you're seeing, what you like the look of. So we are going to apply a curves layer, and I'm just going to set that so that only applies to the group below. And as I've explained on previous videos, what you can do with the curves layer is you can affect all of the colors, so red, green and blue. We could grab a mincer point and I can decide I'm going to make it a little darker. I could brighten the whole thing up to the point that it's far too bright or far too dark. I can also set points in different places, so where the shadows are, I can make the shadows a little darker, or possibly bring the shadows a little bit up and pull the highlights down. As you start pulling the highlights down, you notice how the skin tones start to look a bit weird. It's not something I would normally do. I'd be more inclined to say just take the shadows down a tiny bit if I was going for that. What we'll do is we're going to go for the overall look. So to do this, we're going to change into one of the color channels, and then we're going to grab or set a control point and have a look and see what happens. Now, red will affect skin tones because they're the closest to what you have. So again, we can add a touch of warmth or taking the red out just a tiny bit, and you notice how that color will start to change, all depending on the kind of mood you're looking to get. But there, I might just take a little bit of red out. I don't want it to be too warm, although we've got a lot of warm tones in here. In fact, we could just give maybe the red just a little whiff, and possibly just take the shadows. And you can see, you may have seen this kind of effect in some photographs when you get back from conventions and stuff, where you can see kind of like a color cast in the shadowy areas, and this is literally what it is. And that's obviously a little, 12 is a little too much. So I'm actually going to take that down to there. I'll go into the green channel and see what kind of effect the green has. And you can see can shift almost towards a magenta as you start going here. But you may only want to make fairly subtle changes, or you decide perhaps you just want to say put a click here and I want to make changes that just affect the brighter areas, like that. Then we can take that, just work it, affect a few other areas of the image. We'll go to the blue channel. Then the blue channel, we pull that down. You can see how we're shifting all towards yellow. You can sort of get a cooling effect. Like there, you can see how we're actually exaggerating the blue, and we're even pushing the skin tones a bit bluish. So we might just want to do a little bit of a blue boost and just have a look at the, that's also reducing the contrast of the blue there, so we might want to take that down a little bit. So as you can see, we've got some slight adjustments, going a little bit of a blue boost and a lift in the shadow area. In green, pulled it down a little bit in the shadows, increased a little bit in the highlights, and red where the skin tones are, we've just added a little bit of a red. Again, you can always grab hold of a slider and just move it up and down, see what kind of effect it has. Because effectively now we're changing the color of the shadows. This is where it's got blue. And I actually say I'd leave that there because I tend to like sort of a bluish color in the shadows, especially as we've got sort of a turquoise blue color of the outfit. And it just offsets the very sort of warm wooden tones that we've got that make up the majority of the picture. So lastly, go to the RGB layer, and you can see now, you can see how there's been subtle changes made over the whole course of that. And to see the sort of before and after, in fact, we can just click this. That's pretty much the picture that came out of camera. That's using flash as well. And at this point, where we've got sort of subtle different color. And looking at it, I'm just sort of wondering if there's anything else we need to do with this, really, because yeah, we could do with maybe just a tiny hint of dodge and burning as well. That's another favourite action and technique I like to use. And for those who don't know, dodge and burn is just a fancy term for making things darker or lighter. So using that, we'll take a soft brush. We'll take the flow down to about 4%. And what we're going to do first is switch the colors around. I'm going to zoom in, and we're just going to go on the highlight areas. So the areas like here, I'm just going to brighten those up very slightly. Don't want to do too much. And again, you can see it's just like that. It's just literally very, very fine little fine strokes where the light would be catching. And you know, this is sort of fiddly work, but it's also quite relaxing in a way, because you can just add a few touches here and there. And again, we're just looking where there's just faint bits of light catching, and just get all randomly. For those who might be wondering what the music is, it's all from Stream Beats, so it's completely DCMA free and Twitch friendly. Now let's have a look. Does that need a little hint? Yeah, we got crystal here. I think we should just lighten that up a touch. And again, sometimes, it always helps to zoom out and just take a good look and sort of decide how much you need, because you can easily spend far too much time dodging and burning unnecessarily. Now, at the moment, you might think, can't really see the difference. But one of the things we can do is we can just add a little bit of catching to the highlights a little bit. Okay, we just have to be very, very subtle. And it helps that we actually get our selection area correct. And again, I'm just gonna, as they say, the devil is in the detail. This is how much that, we can manipulate photography and turn things, into more artistic, and add other things that we wouldn't have maybe been able to capture at the time of shooting, given the sort of time constraints we have to work with. I mean, it's just an all-day shoot, but with like 400 people here, including photographers and cosplayers, so that's an awful lot of shoots going on almost at the same time. So I'd say, there we go. Like I say, I only want to just bring a little bit of emphasis, and I don't want to over brighten things too much. So let's just take a step out there for a second and have a quick swig. Just seeing if there's anyone in the chat. Well, it all looks fairly quiet. So at some point, I'm sure somebody will join in and then say, I can't hear a thing you're saying. No, I did have my phone on just to have a quick check on the stream, because I had a few issues the other day. I stupidly made a change in the main settings of OBS because I wanted to have the microphone not on my starting screen, my AFK screen, and promptly lost all the filter settings, which I had forgotten to back up. So I had to set that up all again the other day. It took about half an hour. Was a bit of a pain though, but it's taught me to remember, pick your settings next time. So with that, let's go take a little look at the dodged and burnt there. And I'm just wondering, we could try a gradient map with this. So what we'll do next is we're just going to switch that around, take our eyedropper tool. I want to sort of pick a fairly dominant colour. Actually, maybe let's pick that. I'll pick that colour, and let's say we're going to pick the brightest out of that colour there. Switch those around and apply a gradient map. And we'll just take that to soft light, and we're just going to take the opacity of this quite low, maybe about there. So you can see gradient map has its own effect. You can reverse it as well, and that will change the effect a bit. But like I say, I'd go with that. It's just making the shadowy area a little bit darker. Obviously, we want to look at actually stepping out of a dark area. And I think this is actually a staircase, because right above here, which you can't see in the picture, and unfortunately I didn't take any pictures of the actual whole area of the library, there's like a first floor. So, you know, if you can imagine those old school floor to ceiling shelves full of books, right above here there's almost a second floor, which is a short walkway that you can walk around. But on this day, they weren't allowing anyone up there, which is probably a good reason for health and safety reasons. So I'd say that's probably it for that shot. I don't really think it needs too much to be done. So what we'll do, if we take this and go back to our original picture, this is what we started with. And this is the end result. So, I'd say, okay with that. Give that a quick save. Now that we've saved that, we're going to take a look at our next picture. So we're just going to switch over to Lightroom, and I've noticed just checking Discord. One of my friends I was supposed to be having a chat with is a bit busy prepping for London MCMPN. So we'll leave them to get on with it. Now, let's see, what was the next picture in this set we were going to do? Probably 3 monitors. Where we're at. And yeah, this is like the picture I really want to sort of finish on out of the set. We have the light positioned right over on this side, so we're getting a nice line of shadow and there's a nice sort of air of mystery to this picture. So what we're going to do is just go back to this one and we'll go into the develop module while we're at it, seeing as we've made some adjustments. And what we'll do is copy basically all our basic white balance, color and color correction and sharpening settings. And then we can go on to our next picture. That one there. Then we'll just paste those settings on there, and as you can see here, straight away it's applied all of the changes from the previous picture. And as you notice, I could actually do color grading here for a really quick and dirty edit, but I still prefer the more manual process of sort of tweaking things. Color wheels are something that I always tend to just fall on doing, like an orange teal look, which is exactly the thing I'm trying not to do these days. So looking at that, that's all fine. So from there, let's edit that in Photoshop. Look, chat still a bit quiet, so if you are watching, feel free to say hello. At least let me know that someone's alive, someone's actually watching. So what we'll do first, delete that, and we'll start up with a cleanup layer. There's nearly always something that will need to be cleaned up. So what we'll do is just take a quick look, see if there's any obvious things that we can do, and yeah, do a few things straight away here. And we'll do the healing brush tool. As a replace mode. And as usual, sometimes you need to mess around with the brush settings. Now, I'd say that was me. Replace mode to normal. Okay, now, like I say, this is the more painstaking work. just cleaning up minor imperfections. At the end of the day, it is kind of a more fantasy look, though. Generally, I'd expect those fantasy characters to look absolutely perfect, so I think we can get away with doing a bit more cleanup, make people look their best. At least that's what we can. You know, we're not fundamentally changing a person's face or reshaping or removing features. We're just going over anything that we think, you know what, that could be minor. Minor imperfections that will just give a smoother, more polished look. You know, if you've ever seen fashion magazines, I can guarantee most of those models have all been retouched, and sometimes quite heavily, depending on, you know, what the day takes. Makeup can do so much, and it's a good foundation for getting the kind of shot you want, but that sort of high class polished look just takes a little bit of extra work there. But you know, we're not afraid to do a little bit of work. We're just going around. Again, I'm just cleaning up look a little bit. For me, it's more about removing distractions, making sure that your eye is going where it should be being directed. Okay. I know some people say, why don't you just slap a filter on it? And, you know, the problem with filters is that everybody uses them. Instagram has its own filters, so you have something like 50 shades of Instagram. Your picture can look just like everyone else's picture on Instagram. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Just having a quick look across, see how we're doing. Just zoom out, and I'd say that's kind of getting in the ballpark of where we want to be. Going to leave my friend a message. So, right, let's think, where were we going then? Does he have a clue what he's doing today? You can tell after 2 weeks off, I'm really forgetting how to do things. I need to install the Microsoft Power Toys on this machine, because it has got one really good feature, and I highly recommend it, especially if you have more than one monitor. It's called Find My Mouse. And the great thing with it is you can set it so that when you see a mouse and you give it a good shake, like that, you'll actually see the whole screen go grey, and there'll be like a spotlight right where your mouse pointer is. And you think, I don't really need that. Trust me, you will eventually. So what we'll do now is get those two layers and we'll merge them. It's called merged, as I always like to do. I can deactivate these layers. And next we're going to do frequency separation. Obviously, because we're working on skin smoothing, need to make sure we've got the head visible. And let's start. Again, this is an action. There is no crime in using actions. Let's go for, say, 6 pixels. Yeah, 6 pixels is roughly about the right sort of level for this. So go into details, and we'll then go our healing brush tool. Change to just current layer, because we only want to be picking up details off this layer here. And what we'll do next is we'll just pick that. Few of the areas where you spot maybe you need to do a little clean up, and again you're just cleaning up some of the textures here. If there's anything else that needs doing majorly around here. Again, just taking a quick look, see anything that needs to clean it, and obviously these smooth. Smooth things out a little bit. I'd say that's it's also useful for doing things like concealing scrapes and bruises, because you know everybody knows that sort of thing happens when you go to a con, or as the saying goes, the size of the bruise that you inflict on yourself is directly proportional to the importance of the event you're going to. So, for example, if you're shaving and you're going for a job interview, guaranteed it is going to be a really big cut or something like that. You know, the sort of thing that you'll look and go, oh my god, what happened there? Right, so I'd say that's fine at that all there. Just have a quick. Okay, switch into the blur layer. Lasso tool. And we've got 5 pixels radius there. And we'll just start just loosely drawing around areas that we want to do. Some smoothing on. Actually, we'll go to blur, Gaussian blur, 6 pixels, it's fine. And we'll just trace around the outline of the cheek. Yeah, you don't have to be too precise. It's going to pull in by whatever the feather value you've set. I can go fill some Gaussian blur again. We'll just do the same on this dark side. Select that for a second, and we'll just have a quick look. I don't know if you can notice that, but if you look in this area here, for example, as soon as we put frequency separation on, you can see how it's all sort of smoothed and even out a bit. Now, because our cosplayer is showing a lot more skin than a normal costume would, it makes sense to do the skin smoothing on the rest of the body as well. Otherwise, it does kind of look a bit odd. Just loosely tracing around. We don't want to make objects like the necklace blurry. We want to keep sharpness in that and just see the hat area here. We're not bothered too much because it's out of focus anyway, because it's behind the subject. But what we want to do at this point is move around a bit, and I'm just tracing almost on the inside of the shadowy area. While we're at it, we're just going to go down around the hand. Care of that. And we just get towards the last parts here. And you can see, yeah, it's don't have to be super precise, although it does help to have a steadier hand. Oh, we're having one of those days, aren't we? Oh, we had it. I almost had it. We'll get it. So I'm just gonna... Oh, yeah. What an absolute pain sometimes this is. Oh, it's really not wanting to play today, is it? Oh, that's really annoying when that happens. So what I'm going to do is just select part of an area. Oh, it isn't happy, is it? I can see I'll be taking a break at this point. And we'll just do a little bit down here. It's going to be awkward. There we go. Right, well, we're coming up almost on the first hour here. Chat's looking fairly quiet, but I guess most people are getting drunk or doing other things rather than watching my stream. Where are you people? Have you not got a life? Wait a minute. I'm a cosplay photographer. I haven't got a life either. Right, so we've done the frequency separation. I'm happy with that. So what we're going to do next is, let's take our curves layer. And then go and get our gradient map. And then I think we'll add a dodge and burn. Okay, and we need to just reset our palette to black and white. Make sure we have the brush, 4% flow, and we'll play around with the look. So that look isn't completely sort of like hard set. I'll look at it and go, I'm not sure. For example, do I like that? That's quite subtle. I'll turn that off for now, just so I can see the effect of the dodge and burn. I'm just going to pick out again just the areas that are being caught by the light, which, as I've said, you can tell if you look at the reflection in the eyes, you can see there's more than one light actually in this room, but one of these is going to be the light that's casting the light, and that we're getting this nice bit of shadow area. Now, I know some cosplayers will complain, oh my god, my face is in shadow, but the thing about shadow is it creates drama, and it also gives dimension to a picture. Let's undo this too. there. Yeah. When you're trying to sort of create a mood, you really are sort of painting with light and shadow. If you were to turn all the colours off, and in fact, that just gives me a quick idea. We go here, and we create a fill, so do like a 50% grey fill in there, and change that to colour. What we've done now is we've removed colour, so this basically just looking at the values, and as you can see, the picture's basically made up of highlight areas and shadowy areas. We're not going to use this layer, that's just there for illustration what that looks like, so let's just take that and throw that out. Our dodge and burn layer. And we were just sort of having tiny additions to the highlights. Just where for example, let's see, you can just lighten it ever so slightly. Now, you might find that sometimes these catch lights can be a little bit too distracting, but I'm going to leave them in because otherwise her eyes are really dark. Now, we could try lightening up the eyes, but I'd prefer to do that on a separate layer. So what we'll do, I'm going to create a second dodge and burn layer. Do that, then go in and can just try to lighten that part up and possibly just take that bit down, but that doesn't look do is I'm just going to get rid of that and do another one. I'll just call it eye because we've only really got one iris visible. Oh, I'm losing the ability to talk here. And if we just switch that off and on, you can see now, put that off. Actually, stay with that for a second, because I've just noticed something. I was actually burning, not dodging, so I was making the thing darker. What a muppet. You can tell it's Friday night. So we'll try it again, and this time we'll do it properly. And that's about as much as I dare. Might just lift it a little bit. Any more than that and it's going to start looking very weird and unnatural. for me at least. So I can burn, we're just going to zoom out of it. And we might want to increase these shadows, well, increase the highlights a little bit. So what we'll do is just tiny. Again, not doing too much. We're just gonna have a little bit of an accent. It's just picking out the edges so it is very light strokes in places. I'd say at that point, switch that gradient map back on. Might actually move that at the top. Like I say, very subtle there. Doesn't need too much there. I don't think we need to burn that in any darker. We've got a nice little gradation of light to shadow along there. That looks fine. I think what we will do before we export this is we're going to do a very tiny crop just to take that edge out, because that's just kind of drawing the eye away from our subject here, but it's just a little bit brighter. But other than that, I'd say that looks fine. So let's save that. Right, now that's saved. What we'll do next is the important thing, and that is take a break. So I will see you shortly after this break. Welcome back for the next part of this stream. And before we carry on, I thought I'd like to just introduce you to my Patreon page, because I'm a poor photographer and I can't afford to go to cons. Yes, things are getting that bad that I might, have to look at saying, hey, can you actually spot me a subscription, and show me some support? It would be much appreciated. At the end of the day, while cosplayers, get the costumes, bring the characters to life, a lot of what comes on the back of this is done by photographers like myself and my colleagues. And many of us work for free. And as you can appreciate, a bit of support wouldn't be going amiss. And if you actually would like to support me, you can join for as little as £1 a month. And that will get you access to my public blog posts, galleries of the past events, and at any event we're both at, you'll get a photo. Now, if you are feeling lucky You can step up to, say, £3 a month, join my Discord server, get to see the members only area, also be able to pick more photos for editing, as well as watching some special live stream events. At the moment, I'm keeping these live streams open to everybody because I want as many people as possible to see the work that I do, and hopefully either consider joining as a supporter or, you know, stepping up to another tier and offering some support. And that would go a long way to enabling me to do more of what I like doing, which is cosplay photography, and be able to offer shoots at locations outside of con, as well as maybe a few cons across the UK. So that's my bit of shilling to everybody. So I'm just cycling through. So in case you haven't seen, this is the kind of work that I can put out. Now this edit took over 2 days, a whole weekend practically to pull together, and I still ended up spending time going back over and over it because I just wasn't quite happy, and it took a long time to get to where it was. And this was a shot from our pre-shoot at Cos Expo earlier this year with Xtran Cosplay. And we have Zero May. I can't remember her name, but had to go for the classic cloud look there. This is Kurochu from France as Arif Gainsbourg. And I think she goes by the name Mosachi, but there's a ponytail Miku, and that was also taken at Cos Expo. So that's me doing my little bit of paid shill and saying, if you'd like to shoot with a cosplay photographer like me, you know where to find me. Get in touch and let's get shooting. Right, so we are going to switch back our live scene, and we finished that first edit. Excuse me. Oh god, I've been coughing for most of the day, and I made some fairly hot fajitas today. Wife wasn't very impressed with them. She said they were too hot. And this is just the basic spices. I put Nando's hot chili sauce on top of it just to add a bit more kick. Whew, that was hot. Very enjoyable. Right, so that's that edit done. That's the original. And I think this was another one we were going to do. Possibly that one. I'm not so sure on that one now. So I think these two kind of have the right sort of look. And this area was very popular. Let's think, who was it now? I can't remember her name, but she was Misa cosplayer from Death Note, and shot that Darren iPhoto UK took of her was just stunning, using this as almost like a picture frame. Genius, that man. If I could shoot a tenth as good as him, I'd be happy. See, I'm quite modest. I know my limits. but I'm still pushing to exceed them where I can. You know, I need to do a limit break. If you're a Final Fantasy player, you know what we're talking about here. I'm kind of a passive player, in that I do watch quite a few streams of my daughter playing Final Fantasy. In fact, I have to remind her, when is she going to start streaming so we can see it again? Because we need to catch up on the next part of the Hildebrand quest. Anyway, I did say this was going to be idle chatter, inane banter, and photo editing. I also mentioned lager at some point, but that's going to be in the next segment. I hope you're actually enjoying the stream, and if you've got any comments, feel free to pop them down in the stream chat if you see it. I'm using a Falconized F7 video light, which I actually used way back at the first SecretCon earlier this year to do the Star Wars shoots outside of Gloucester Cathedral. And I'm actually using one of these lights as my main video light. So I haven't even gone out and bought a streaming light. And the webcam kind of came from somewhere. We won't say where. I've borrowed it for an evaluation. Maybe a long-term one until I find a better cam, but right now it'll do. Anyway, I'm rambling here. As you notice, this happens to me a lot. Let's copy those settings again. I have copied them, but I'm just going to do that again. And we're going to paste those in there. And let's edit that in Photoshop. So I'll duplicate my layer, do a clean up there. And we'll just close that one down there. To current and below, just to remind myself how to do things again. Okay, so this time a bit more cleanup. Chat's pretty quiet tonight. God, there must be something good on TV or somewhere. And you could be sat here watching me stream, making a complete fool of myself. Hope you're enjoying the music as well. Kind of like synthwave. It's got a very kind of cyberpunk feel to it. And on the subject of cyberpunk, I don't know how many of you have watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners on Netflix. I have watched it, not on Netflix, but a more other site. I have to admit, I've really enjoyed it. You know, first episode, and I'm like, wow, this is good. I mean, considering the game itself finally isn't actually that bad, apparently, from what I've been told. But the setting and the story, really good. I'm really enjoying that show. quite good to sort of segue right into that show after watching Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex second gig. I honestly didn't want that show to end. That was just so good. You know, it still had that very classic 1990s cyberpunk vibe about it. The idea of uploading consciousnesses to the net, you know, that's like, yeah, you know, quite something compared to a plethora of cat videos or e-girls on YouTube. I still have to find out what they mean by e-girls. I'm not going to Google that at the moment. This is just more inane rambling by me, which is what happens when you're streaming on your own. As I've said, I think in my previous stream, I now understand what it feels like to be a DJ on the graveyard shift. You know, the only people that are listening to you are probably nurses, security guards, ambulance crews. Not much else, really. Let's just make that a little larger. I'm beeping there. Just going to clean up little distractions. Just want to go for a very polished look. Some people may say, oh, you know, you're over retouching. I wouldn't say this is over retouching. I think my tablet's behaving a bit weird. Oh, it's because I'm just catching my fingers out. Okay, why are you? Definitely a bit of a lag occurring there. Is it playing silly buggers? Or we just crashed it? Yeah, I think we may have just crashed Photoshop. Nice. Right, let's see. Can we fix this? No, we can't. Oh. Looks like we're going to be giving Photoshop a restart at this point. Yeah, it's definitely not happy about something. Yeah, it's not wanting to do anything at the moment. It's a bit of a pain, so let's close that and reopen. Yeah, we'll save the changes on that one because that bit works, but you know, everything else bleh, decides the computers say not. which is a bit of a pain at times. Going to open that previous one first. You might be thinking, but you're editing the other one. No, there's a reason for that, and that's so we can hopefully finish off the cleanup. There we go. Now we can get down to a bit more tidying up. Again, just little cleanups here and there. Just playing silly buggers again. It's definitely a bit of a lag going on here, so we will work through this one way or the other. Definitely getting to that point again where you feel like kicking the computer a bit. Let's look there. Because we're zoomed in a bit much. I think that's okay. Yeah. Merge those two layers. And next thing we'll do . change that all there. Just cleaning up the areas a little bit. Clean up there. I think it's not too bad. Yeah, I'd say. We're kind of done at that point, so let's switch to the blur, get our lasso tool, and let's just draw. Just sort of trace out. Oh, it's now cleaning up. Alright, no, I don't want to do that. I just wanted to deselect that for a second. Yeah, that looks okay. Don't need to excessively smooth things, just enough. Okay, so grabbing a few. Teething problems, but we will continue to work through. Just go by the elbow there. See how we're doing. No drop frames at all. That's not bad. Streaming at 720. I've been streaming at 1080 previously, but I've had one or two people saying you don't really need to stream at that resolution. Alright, we know no pixels are selected. If you'd let us select them, then it'd be selected. Yeah, this tablet's definitely wanting to play silly buggers tonight. Select. Just gonna trace down inside the shadow. All we would if Photoshop would actually let us do that. Right, so you might think, can't see the difference there. But you look very closely, you notice how the skin smoothens out. Oh, and hello to Oderham Cosplay. Thank you very much for joining the stream. I'm glad you like the photos you see on my Instagram. You mean they're actually good? Compared to the photographers I follow, I feel like a rank amateur compared to some of those guys, but I keep trying. So, like I say, go on, scratch that itch there. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. Obviously, I take it you're not suffering from insomnia, because if you are, I can guarantee that this stream is a great cure for it. You'll sleep like a brick afterwards. So, whereabouts are you from? I have to remember what I'm doing while I'm waiting for a reply. So let's go. Remember, what was I doing? No, don't want to do that. I wanted to do those. I'm from Sweden. Wow. That's awesome. I think the furthest viewer I've had was Mesame TV on YouTube. And he was in Singapore. And he just happened to be up early in the morning looking at streams with photography on it and watched me broadcast a grey screen for about 50 minutes. I didn't notice until he messaged me and I was like, okay. Right, so we got those two there. Just drop two. What was I doing there? Dodge and burn. I knew I was doing something then. Sure, we've got white selected, 4%. Oh, by the way, if you drop me a follow, I shall follow you back. Do you get to go to many cons in Sweden? Oh, I know what you mean about the content. Tell me about it. The last 2 years have been really hard with no cons because of COVID and stuff like that. So I sort of managed during the in-between bits where we weren't in lockdown. I actually started going to paid photography shoots. Not me getting paid, actually me paying to go to them. So I started working with professional models on location as well as studios. So it was a nice sort of change, do something a little different, but still kind of missed shooting cosplay. And I only managed to get a couple of shoots during the course of those brief breaks in lockdown. So let's see how we're doing there. Yeah, let's just go in. Well, if you're ever thinking of coming over to England, the two cons that I would recommend straight away is SecretCon, which I shall just quickly SecretCon Co UK. This is a con that you sort of apply to attend. It's just basically for safeguarding, making sure that we have the right blend of cosplayers and photographers from different levels, and to ensure that it's a safe space for everyone. This is an amazing event. And the other event I'd also recommend is Cos Expo in Reading, which runs once a year as well. That is a phenomenal venue, at least when it doesn't rain. When it rains, yeah, it could be a problem. I've only been for the first time this year, and it was an interesting experience. I got to see some amazing cosplays, which is probably where you've seen most of those pictures from. Anyway, before I ramble too much, yeah, just gonna lighten up. Actually, let's run Dodge and Burn again. We'll just do a very small amount just to bring the irises a little more. Yeah. And I think the only other thing I might do is just a tiny bit Dodge and Burn on that book. And then what I'll do is, while we're here, just gonna just pick out a few highlights. So it's not doing that again. Oh. Ooh. In terms of photo manipulations, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. I don't do body shaping or like face reshaping, purely because I don't think I'm very good at it, and it's not something I necessarily agree with. If you mean composite photography, changing backgrounds, yes, I have done some of that. I'll show you. This is me shilling my Patreon now. That's one that I did. That took over 2 days, pretty much a whole weekend, sat at a computer trying to work out how to make this work. Pretty much most of its stuff is free stock photography, apart from the picture of a cosplayer, which is one I took. This background, you might be surprised, is actually one of Donald Trump's buildings. So I decided, what better thing to do than to put a great big hole in the side of it. Nice. And then it was hunting around for a decent picture of the oh god, I can't even remember what that. Oh, it's Pod 42 from Nia. And like I say, this cosplayer is Kurichu. She came over to England from France for Cos Expo. Behind there is Leanne, who cosplays, who's my daughter, who's currently studying at uni now. Not bad, I'm glad you like that. It's hard work, and it doesn't always work. But now and again, I like to dabble with doing things like, composites. But it does take up so much time. And sometimes you don't get the results you want, but it keeps things interesting. So, anyway, let's get back to the edit before I forget what I'm doing. So I think I've got everything I want there. Yeah. So let's save that. And let's have a look at Lightroom and see what we've got next lined up. There's maybe one more misset. Yeah, I think we'll have I'll play with that one. I don't think it's the strongest of all the pictures, but it sort of just breaks things up a little bit. Just zoom and a touch. I'm just going to do again. I'm just moving to minor distractions. I'm trying to go for a smoother look. Overall, when the mouse wants to play. Just getting that smoothed out a touch. That's one of the things about side lighting, is it does reveal a lot of texture. So things like skin flaws become very obvious. This is when we use our skills in Photoshop to clean things up a little bit and make people look their best. Let's see. Tiny cleanups. Let's see. Those layers. Just deactivate those. See, separation's the next action we're going to run. Switch those layers over a bit. And this is the point where my machine will either decide it wants to start playing silly buggers with me, let's just see if there's anything. Yeah. Zoom out a touch. There we go. Nearly there. We'll just go and inch our gradient map and curves those. And just pick out a few details. Don't want to do too much, just little bits here and there. Let's see, just zoom in a little bit more, and we'll just brush a little brighter, bigger I mean. Just wait for that to catch up a bit. Don't tell me it's crashed again. Oh no. Oh no, don't do this to me. Let's quick save. That's the thing, saving works. But everything else, got a feeling we might have to close and reopen that one, so let's just reopen 611. Just catching a few. Just pick out a few of these edges. Not really that much to do on that, I don't think. Oh, let's just let's just increase that a bit. Yeah, I'd say leave that about there. Let's save that before anything else happens. And I'll take a short break. Right, so I'm just going to take a quick break and I will be right back for the next round of edits. I think, looks of it, we're going to be going with Harley Quinn. That should be an interesting edit. I will see you shortly. Don't go away. But if you do, get yourself a nice drink and then come back and watch the stream. Catch you in a bit. And we're back for the third part of the stream. It's 11 minutes past midnight, so it's Saturday morning. So, here we go. The most important sound of all. I'm not sure if you heard that, but now we're on the lager. It's becoming a bit of a tradition, this. 2 hours of streaming, midnight, and he's suddenly hitting the lager. Yeah. Right, so our next edit is Harley Quinn. And this is Bombshell Becky cosplay, or is it Becky Bombshell cosplay? And did any of that make any sense? Looking at that kind of lager, probably not. It can only go worse. No way this stream can get any better. Okay. Right, so let's just do a quick look. Not too bad. Probably could do it a little sharp and determining the focus there. Let's just see. Not just just lift those shadows a little bit, not too much. We'll just desaturate that a little bit. And we're just now going to tweak how much sharpening. Say that's about okay for there. So let's open that in Photoshop. That's good. Still no drop frames after 2 hours of streaming. It's not bad. Right, and first thing to do that one. And we're just going to try using Topaz Sharpen AI. This software has been a lifesaver on so many occasions where the focus has just gone slightly soft. Just gonna pull that in there. Okay, so it thinks it's motion blur very blurry. Really? Let's see what the result is when it calculates. Now, I don't know if you just saw that then. If you didn't, just split view. I'll probably go 200%. And you can see there kind of a difference. It does sharpen up a little bit, but I wouldn't have thought that was very blurry. So sometimes you need to play around with these settings a bit. And also check out for any kind of weird artifacts, because you do get them appearing in this program. And if you're not careful, you'll find something somewhere that doesn't quite look right. So what we'll do is auto select the subject. That's pretty impressive, really, when you look at that. So that's actually just picking out that subject. And I'm just going to apply that. And that just crispens up the image a little bit more. I normally shoot with a Nikon D810 and a 2470. So I'm quite conscious of shutter speeds having effect on blur, and I'm always having to sort of look at around 160th of a second or upwards to be able to get a fairly sharp capture. As one of the big issues with high megapixel sensors is that they're more susceptible to showing tiny variations. So that's the kind of blurring you see. It's like micro blurring. And this is giving the PC a good workout. And we're nearly there. Right, there we go. So we zoom in on that. 100% zoom. Now if I just disable this layer, you can see how the eyes just seem a little sharper. It looks like I nailed focus. Not a bad thing. One of the photographic event organizers whose events I go to put me onto this software because she did a number of shoots over in Europe in sort of stately homes, models, professional models, beautiful long dresses, you know, that whole kind of aesthetic. Really amazing stuff. And unfortunately, when she got back, she discovered that some of the photos were just slightly out of focus, not by much, but just enough to be annoying. And she tried out Topaz and posted the results on Facebook, and she was amazed at how sharp and how clean a job it did of sharpening up a slightly blurry image. So based on that, I downloaded a demo version, tried it out with a few images that I had that were not perfect. You know, they were like almost acceptably sharp or just slightly off, that I wouldn't normally use, because I'd zoom in and go, oh god, that's really blurry. And Topaz did an amazing job. It really did. I was quite impressed. So much I bought it because you had to. So that's me rambling. So the next thing is we're going to give it a clean up way. And we're just going to zoom in. Just make sure we got current and below would help. And take the size of the brush down a little bit. Now, I'm not going to change too much because she'll kill me. If I do, I'm sure. But we're just going to tidy up one or two areas. Just got to going to watch that, making sure that I'm actually sampling an area close to the area I'm working on. As you can see then, I was just sampling from all sorts of random places. %, 100. That's okay, I think, on this case. I think I'd leave things as they are. Actually, let's just do a quick stray hair check. Because stray hairs do bug me a little bit, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. So let's go on to some frequency separation and try 8 pixels on this one. Also, I've just given you a follow to Odorem Cosplay. I had a quick look at the Instagram. Looks good. Like some of the stuff you've got there. Just at this time, I've got my phone set to sort of night mode, do not disturb. So it goes, everything goes into black and white, but sometimes that's a good way to see things. Yeah. Right, let's just see. And just a little bit to clean up there. And I'd say that's about just fix the lipstick there a bit. I'd say that's okay about that point. We just need to switch to our blur layer, lasso tool. No, I didn't want to do that. My tablet's deciding it wants to be a little awkward tonight, or this morning. Just zoom out a bit there, and we'll just catch neckline. And we're just a little bit around this area. Okay, and we'll just take that off. You can see frequency separation has just sort of smoothed out the skin there a bit, which is great. At some point, I'm going to have to call this the Stellar Artois Show. The Stellar Artois Show. They don't sponsor me, but I'm open to sponsorship if you send me free beer. I'll drink it. Right, so we've kind of got that fixed. Actually, come to think of it, those hairpins. That's let me have a little look. Good job I haven't merged anything. Let's go back to details a touch. Let's see. see about replace mode. No, I don't think that's helped. Go back to that. In all honesty, you won't even see the hairpins from there, so what we'll do now is just going to would help if I could type. What we'll do now is duplicate. Oh, I know what's happened. I had a selection there, very tiny one, right on the shoulder there. Gets me every time. Right, so what we're going to do next? That's a good point. What am I going to do next? I'm going to tweak the background colors a little differently from the foreground, just a bit, not very much. So what we're going to do is we're going to use select subject, and I'm going to use cloud for detailed results. This is quite a neat feature. Photoshop, that you can harness the processing power of Adobe's infrastructure and obviously, as you can see here, you might need to make a few little minor tweaks and changes. Not expecting it to be perfect, but close enough will do. Just enough to a few strays that we could probably get rid of those. Just a few more. These hairs in together. I'm sure there are better ways of doing this, but well, actually, I'm pretty sure somebody would say you should use the pen tool and then draw the hairs back afterwards. But you know what? I can't be bothered doing that. So let's go and apply maps of that. Oh no, hold on a second. There's a way to do this. Pretty sure it's click, drag onto that. Place layer mask, yes. and we'll just, yeah, that wasn't such a good idea. So let's just delete that layer mask. See, oh, that's a mess, isn't it? Let's leave it at that. So what we'll do next is we will apply a curves layer and do some color grading on the background. So I'm just going to apply, or make sure that the curves layer only applies to this layer here. And we could just have a look at maybe, like, do we make that darker? Not really. Could boost the brightness. Actually, that's not too bad. I say maybe we just lift the brightness a little bit. And then we'll have a look at, say, taking the red down. That'll just get the changing the shade of the ground there. Not much of a change on that. And let's go for the blue. I'm pulling that there, and then that's pushing it somewhat more towards the orange. That's getting a much cooler tone, but I want just a little bit, maybe. Tiny bit. In fact, I'll probably use that as an overall grade, so it's not a massive change, but you can see how we kind of brought up the ground a little more brown and toned down the greens a little bit, maybe introduced a bit of yellow into that. So I think that's not too bad. So what we'll do next, what should we do next? Now there's a good question. As you can see, this is the joy of editing live. No idea of where this picture's going. I just know where this lager's going, and that is down my neck. So here we go. Should we try applying a curves layer on our subject? Let's try that. Or should we go with a gradient map? And overall, I think I'm a sucker for gradient maps. So, might say, let's pick the lightest colour we have there. And then say, let's say I want to pick this red, or actually I want to go there. just reverse that. And sometimes it's worth just going through some of the blend modes just to see what the effects are like, because normally you'll go between soft and hard light to look for which has the lower contrast, and soft light's not too bad, although color dodge does look quite interesting, although I tend to go with soft light. And then we'll just dial that back so you can see or not. Yeah, somewhere about 50. We're about 55% looks kind of alright to my eyes. Not sure what you think. I'm thinking about it, obviously going to do a little dodge and burn, just bring up the highlights a little bit, and I might possibly throw in a light overlay. One of those. Can't be too sure what you're doing. Yes, let's not forget to reset our palette there. And let's see, the brush wants to do its own thing as always. And again, you can see, just gonna try and highlight some of these. Highlight some of the blonde areas. And while we're at it, we're just going to just run over a few of these areas. Let's just do a quick test. Yeah, it's just a tiny bit in the black there, but that's not too bad. You see, it just pops the hair a little bit. So, what should we try next? Because I almost feel like I really wanted to mess around. Well, while we're at it, see how we're doing. Yeah. 2 hours 45. So we're coming up to our usual 3 hours of the stream. Let's see how much have I got. About half a can left, so I can keep going for a bit longer. I'm sure I'll get some complaints from my wife shortly, so if you do see somebody materialize behind me, you will realize that I'm getting that call to, isn't it time you went to bed yet? No. It's the weekend. So I hope you're all enjoying the stream. Those of you who are still watching and you haven't fallen asleep yet. If you haven't fallen asleep yet, it might be because of the time of day where you are. But let's have a play with, what are we going to do? Colour lookup. I haven't played with lookup tables on a stream before, so let's have a look at what we can try. Yeah, edgy amber, maybe. And as you can see, that's like, yikes. Another bold photographer with glasses from Randy C. Photo. You'll find quite a lot of us are bald. I envy the ones who have hair. I also envy the ones who are younger. Means they can go longer before they lose their hair. So, how are you doing, Randy? You having a good time so far? No, this isn't the final image. I'm just having a little play. Let's just take that. Oh god, that's a bit much. Let's take that down. You just got here. That means I've got to carry on streaming. Oh god, you like the music too? Yeah. So, where are you from? Wait, is that? Brooklyn. Wow. I'm definitely doing something right tonight then. Or it must be really boring in Brooklyn and Sweden if you're watching this stream. If you want to laugh after this stream or when you regain consciousness and think, what the hell did I just watch? You should watch the second stream I did. And it, how can I put it? It was embarrassing. That's where the name The 18% Grey Shows come from. Because for about nearly an hour, my Lightroom preview was showing a grey screen. And I was just so into the editing, I didn't even know that this was happening. And somebody in Singapore was messaging me and saying, hey dude, I can't see your screen. At which point I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, so I do a test check before a check stream just before I go live, just to make sure everything is kind of all right. But I made some changes to the stream today, which is why you can see my mugshot on the camera now. Yes, that's a good idea. I actually did that on my phone because when you can hear the music in your headset at the same time and you can hear yourself repeating, it's like, is there something going wrong here? Is it me? You haven't streamed in 3 years. Yeah, you probably did a good thing there, watching this thing and thinking, what's that guy doing? So yeah, let's see. We've got fellow look up. We added edgy amber, and I know which one we're going to add. Let's play with. Oh, I don't know. Henton green. Yeah. And we'll get that a soft light, and let's just take that down. Thing I might do. I'm just throwing things in on this on this particular picture. This is the fun part. Can it find my overlays? Come on, hurry up, hurry up. The machine is literally next to me, right here. Oh, fun question. What do I shoot with? Okay, I normally shoot with a Nikon D810. Favorite lens is my 2470 f2.8G. I've also got a 70-200 that I don't use much nowadays. I've also got a Z6 Mark I, which is still kind of a love-hate relationship with that thing. It's a nice camera, but the first generation of eye autofocus, it's not quite there. And that's bitten me a few times on model shoots. Oh, you're retired. Yeah. And you like the D850 and the Z7. Wow. You might hate me if I said I'm thinking of going Sony. I know. I'm looking for a smaller, lighter camera. And one that doesn't kill me. Because I'm getting on in years. I'm 56. And carrying around a D810 with a 7210 on the end of it, that really kills your back after a few hours. The Z7. I've got the FTZ adapter, but the one thing I did notice is the lenses really do chatter a lot compared to when they're on a native f-mount body. I've had people commenting in group shoots saying, "Is your camera all right?" Because all I can hear is that lens rattling like it's going to fall apart. Oh, a Sigma 105. Well, f1.4, that's not going to be light, is it? That's going to weigh like a brick. But the quality. I've done one shoot where I managed to borrow a 35mm 1.4. That was nice. That really was. Yeah, it could be that I've got a dodgy FTZ adapter, or maybe the Z6 itself. Oh, Tokina. Now, they made some cracking lenses in the day. I'm just having a look. I can remember what. Sunshine photo overlays. That's the one. This is what happens when you buy far too many Z6. Yeah, it is my problem. The only thing I'm doing at the moment to try and redeem it is I've just bought a Helios 58mm 1970s lens. It's the one from the Krasnogorsk plant, because there's like 3 variations of that lens. It's just because I want to try that lens because it has a really weird bokeh. So if I'm getting a M42 to Z adapter just to have a play with it, and then obviously depending on which direction I go. If I'm still staying mirrorless, then what I'm likely to do is I'll probably try using that with it, because I just want something that's got a bit more character and a little unusual. You know, up to now, I'll be honest, I've never understood people who would like spend £3,000-4,000 on a camera, you know, 24 megapixels, and then put, you know, a 40 or 50-year-old lens on it. But I've been told that some of the lenses are actually pretty damn sharp. The Pentax Super Takamars are meant to be very sharp. I mean, maybe they're not up to Z lens standard, but they're pretty damn good. And I've just noticed my monitor over here is going off. This could cause trouble. Just watch all my screens blank out for a second and I go, what? If you can see a weird expression on my face, that's because all my monitors have just gone blank for a second. Okay. Oh, they come back on. Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, with the Z3 coming out, well, if the Z6 Mark III does come out, oh, let's see, 28 2.2 nickel. Yeah, some of those Nikon lenses were really something. And that's interesting. I'm not dropping any frames, but I'm definitely noticing my webcam locking up a little bit. So let's have a look for a bit of a light. Ooh, that might be a nice one to play with. Just having a quick look at what sort of things. That's very theatrical. That's probably a bit much. Something overhead. Let's try that one. This is the point where he crashes his machine. Oh, thank you very much for the follow there. Much appreciated. I will follow you back. We'll just take the opacity on that then. I think we only need a very slight amount. Yeah, just about that much. Any more than that, and this green part of the tree starts to look a bit weird. Unless it's these color lookups. Yeah. I'd say 5%. That just about does it, really. Fun part should be let's take all of that. And we'll just deactivate each of these layers. No worries. Oh, I don't mind spicy Instagrams. I will enjoy. But anyway, 8 PM. 1 in the morning here, and I'm still on half a can of beer. That just means I'll need to take another break, and I will be right back as well. So for anyone watching, I will be right back. And we're back. I'm Dr. Fraser Crane, and this is KASCL Radio. I'm listening. I couldn't resist doing that. Love Fraser. Absolutely bonkers. You would never take advice from him as a psychiatrist, considering he never took advice from himself either. And this is the part of the show where the beer starts to get, one can. I'm a lightweight these days. But just to give a recap, this is the picture of Becky Bombshell cosplay as a Harley Quinn, one of her many variants. This is the picture we started out with, straight out of a Nikon D810. This is the finished edit. Well, it will be when I click on the actual thing here. That's not too shabby, so we better save that before I forget. There we have it. That's the first of the Harley edits. And I'm just going to have a quick look at the other pictures from the set and have a think about which one I'm likely to edit next. Because I'm pretty sure there was one she said she would know straight away which she'd like. I'd say that one, probably. So, what we shall do, if you can remember what he's doing, if I can ever remember what I'm doing, this is what happens when you make a selection early on, and then a couple of weeks later you come back and you start thinking, is that the right picture I should pick? But that's just my opinion. The cosplayer may have a very different opinion, and if she knew I was doing this tonight, she'd be probably shouting at me saying, no, don't do that one. But she's not here, so you know what? Tough. It's my choice. Oh, dearie me. Like the composition of that one. That's kind of got a bit of a dreamlike look. I'm going to go with that one. So let's brighten that up a little bit. And let's get that opened up in Photoshop. Let's check these sharpness. Yep. Same again. Just slightly soft. But we can fix that. close off a couple of those early ones. And we'll go topaz, sharpen AI on this one. And let's see what it comes up with. Might just tweak that to automatic. Okay, so it thinks that's more of an out of focus. Very noisy. Really? Well, let's see. I'd say that isn't sharp, but there's some just slightly odd artifacting there, so. This is one of those programs where you have to play around with the settings a little bit, because even though it can pick out what it thinks is the right setting, it doesn't always work. Oh, we're starting to drop some frames now, so I think that's Topaz battering the machine at the moment. So that will explain why webcam output's looking a bit jerky. Just like that. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of artifacts kicking in there, which is not ideal. So let's go back with a recommended. And see how that performs. Not as much, but I'd definitely say it's more like a motion blur there. So we'll just see what some of these settings do. Right, that I think seems to have done it, but it's just a little bit. We can probably get away with fixing that afterwards, so we'll just do a quick auto select on the subject and we'll apply that now. And at this point should see a few more drop frames, and if you're actually watching this with the webcam jerking around a bit, it now becomes very reminiscent from a 1980s TV show called Mac Headroom, in case you remember Max Headroom. And we've got about 30 seconds, so time for a lager. Ooh, good stuff. Nearly there. Come on, you can do it. And we're done. And the pudding, as they say. That's not too bad. We'll be able to clean that bit up. clean up the creases slightly. Just grab a sample point there. Make sure, doing it again, current and below. Just yeah, that's not too bad because as soon as we zoom out, not really going to see that. Isn't it? Yeah. So that clean up's fine. So let's get a bit of frequency separation going. I'm just gonna let's go over and quickly clean up a few little areas. Not do too much, just little bits here and there. Yeah, that's fine, I think. Switch the old lasso tool. Just press around between the eyelid and the eyebrow. Catch these areas. Right, let's see what we have. Yeah, definitely happy with that. So do next is we'll just do and what we'll do on this layer is we're just going to select the subject using the cloud section. Okay, so we need to zoom in just to a little refinement around the hair, because as good as it is, it doesn't always get it right. This is close enough. That's fine. So once you zoom out, we've got our selection. So we'll just hit our mask. And what we'll do now is just copy the curve layer to this one, and we're going to drop that in between there. Those on. No, I think that's really it, Matt. Just apply to everything there. Oh, the document, but no, we don't want that layer. Well, we do, but we want a new one. So we've got our Belgian layer in. And just gonna just gently paint in a few highlights. You can see I'm not being terribly precise about this, but then you don't really need to. Just slight brightening of the lips, and we'll just, there you go, you can see. Zoom out again so we can look at this in its entirety. So you can see the effect of that. That gradient map drops that quite a bit. As you can see, the curves just has that change. So although we know this is dark, we know this is kind of brown, but it's kind of got a greenish cast. We just kind of brighten it up a little bit. You can see that kind of changes. I think that's edgy amber. And that pension green. So they're just the standard looks that come with Photoshop. I mean, looks, you can get millions of them, literally. If you search anywhere, there are lots of free looks available, and there's quite a few that you can buy in packs. Places like Inky Deals and stuff like that you might see on Facebook. Best thing to do is just pick them up when they're on a sale. You'll never know when you need them. The only thing about working with LUTs is they're really hard. There's not many easy ways to view the output of a LUT. You know, you have to open up each one separately, apply it to your image, look at it and go, don't like that, go back, do it again. So I think maybe the last thing we could just do with is a quick overlay on this one. And thankfully this remembers the place we can pick up the overlays from, so it's just finding the one that just has the right kind of look. And number 17 is one I use a lot. See without. Let me just sneak a little bit. Obviously, that's 50%. Maybe a little too strong. So let's go with like 20%. So it's just lifting up a little bit there. And let's get that saved. Well, I think I've broke my record for longest stream so far, because I'm now running at nearly 3.5 hours. I normally pass out by about 3 hours. The can is nearly empty, but no, I'm not having another one. I'm going to be having some serious dose of sleep because I've been on 8-4s all this week and I need a break. Getting home that hour earlier is nice, but getting up that hour earlier, that's the piss. So what we'll do is we're just going to select all of these, merge it onto its own layer. I'll just call it final. If I spelled that right, yeah, good enough. I'll deactivate each of the layers. Let's say that. Let's go with the original. So that's the original picture. And after going through Topaz, AI Sharpen, some cleanup, frequency separation, background split, color grading, LUTs, dodge and burn, I don't know, light overlay, we end up with this. I kind of quite like that. I know the skin tones maybe look a little ready, slightly more golden tones, but I think that kind of works well with the hair. And it kind of has a, dare I say it, Harleyan Wonderland? That could be an interesting concept. What would she do if she met the Mad Hatter? Probably smash his head in with a hammer. That's the one thing she was missing. The hammer, that is. And I have one. I made one a couple of years ago for a Harley shoot that didn't happen. And it's been stuck in my loft ever since. So I need to find a Harley to pair up with that hammer and actually get it used on the shoot. So we've saved that one. So out of the Harley set, I went with that one. And that one. I think, you know, out of the two, out of the four that is, not too sure on that one. I only briefly managed to get a shoot with her, so it was a case of pick a shot that you think, you know, yeah, that'll do. And when you've only got, say, 4 shots for a cosplayer, you know, you may just have to pick one and just say, that'll do. Good enough. So, just to have a recap of what we've done, because I don't think I can carry on much longer. Otherwise, oh my god. Let's see, where do we finish off? Yeah, we started with this one, which was a follow-on from 2 weeks ago. Got some nice moody and very edgy lighting there. Definitely the strongest ones from the set, I think. That one, not so much. It's okay, but it doesn't quite have what the other shots have. I think, you know, there's much more sort of air of mystery and tension going on there. And of course we've got our Harley looking very resplendent, always wanting to scream, off with his head. Let's see, which one is this second head? that is where we are. So let's take a quick look at what's going to come up, I think, on the next stream, given that I'm starting to flag a bit and I think I need to go to bed because I'm going to get cold off in a bit. So for my next shoot is my friend Carolyn, who was cosplaying Merida. And we have a couple of shots where we're going to have to work out what we can do and maybe see if we can change the color of that dress. Oh, you can tell I'm really struggling to get my words right today. We have a couple of these where I'm not 100% happy with these shots, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with it. Cropping the hand off is like, no, that's not really working for me. But then getting onto some Genshin Impact as well. So I have a feeling that we're going to have these guys are going to be getting featured very shortly. Always fun to shoot with. It's only second, third time I've shot with them, but we've had some nice pictures out of the sets. I'm happy with them. So I think on that note, he clicked on the wrong thing. There you go. It's not too bad for 3.5 hours of editing and a bit of drinking. 1 can, legal. I know it's Belgium. Stella, by the way, Stella, if you want to sponsor me, this is right. If you want to sponsor me, please send me beer. I will work for beer. I work for money too, but money first, beer second. Yep, that definitely sounds empty. No, actually, there's a bit left. Oh, that's empty. So, if you made it this far, you've been watching the 18% Grey Show, SecretCon edit, and inane chat, banter, and alcohol, part 5. So you can probably guess that the next part will be part 6. Because if it wasn't, you'd be wondering, have you been abducted by aliens or something? And we don't want to talk about that. Alien abductions and probes and no. Let's just not go there. You can tell if I had more than 1 can, the conversation on this stream would be X-rated. Anyway, for those of you watching or watching on replay and you've made it this far, thank you very much. Hope to see you again sometime. Stay tuned, and I'll wish you a good morning wherever you are. So, good morning.